Properties of substances. Learning about properties of substances. Solid, liquid, and gas are the three states of matter. At normal temperature, water is in liquid state. Copper is in the solid state, while oxygen is in the gaseous state. The state of a substance depends upon the energy it contains. If the substance is heated or cooled, it changes its state. If a solid substance like wax is heated, it changes into a liquid wax, and when cooled again, it changes into solid wax. Activity. Water changes to steam on heating, or it changes to ice on cooling. Activity. Heat some water in a beaker. When you see vapors, place a cool metal plate and cover the beaker. After some time, remove the plate. You see droplets of water on the surface of the plate. As the steam cools, it changes back to water. This process is called condensation. A liquid changes into a gas during vaporization. A liquid changes into a solid during freezing. And a gas changes into liquid during condensation. These are the ways in which changes of state of matter takes place. Every substance has a specific melting point and boiling point. The temperature at which the state of a substance changes from solid to liquid is called the melting point of the substance. The temperature at which a liquid boils is called the boiling point of the substance. The boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, while that of iron is 2750 degrees Celsius. During evaporation, a liquid changes into a gas. Heat a beaker containing some water. Allow the water to boil. If we continue heating, the water turns into steam and disappears completely. However, evaporation may take place at any temperature and only takes place on the surface of a liquid. You must have observed that after a shower of rain, the water on a road evaporates after some time. Wind and higher temperature speeds up the process of evaporation. Distillation. Distillation is the process in which a liquid is first heated up to its boiling point and then its vapor is cooled down to obtain the liquid again. Activity. Take the solution of some common salt in water in a round-bottomed flask. Set up the apparatus as shown in the figure. Fit the flask with a 2-holed rubber stopper. Fit a thermometer in one hole. In the other, fit a bent glass tube. Connect the outer end of the bent tube to a condenser by means of a rubber tube. Fit another piece of rubber tube to the lower end of the condenser and put its end into a beaker. What is a condenser? It consists of a glass tube placed inside another glass tube of a bigger diameter. The wide outer tube has an inlet and an outlet to allow the circulation of cold water around the inner tube. Place the flask on an iron gauze on a tripod and start heating. Observe the beaker. You will see a liquid collecting in it drop by drop. What is this liquid? The water in the flask changes to steam at 100 degrees Celsius. As this steam passes through the condenser, it is cooled by the water around it and becomes liquid once again. Thus, the drops falling in the beaker are of the water from the salt solution in the flask. When all the water in the flask has evaporated, we get pure distilled water in the beaker and the salt from the solution is left behind in the flask. Which methods will you use to obtain salt from seawater in salt pans? Evaporation or distillation? Evaporation. Seawater contains many salts mixed in it. One of these salts is the common salt. When seawater is allowed to stand in shallow pits, water gets heated by sunlight and slowly turns into water vapor through evaporation. In a few days, the water evaporates completely, leaving behind the solid salts. Common salt is then obtained from this mixture of salts by further purification. Which salt is obtained as a result of chemical reaction between hydrochloric acid, HCl, and sodium hydroxide, NaOH? Which method will you use to separate it from the solution? Sodium chloride is obtained as a result of chemical reaction between hydrochloric acid HCl and sodium hydroxide NaOH. The method used to separate it from the solution is distillation. Fractional distillation. The process of fractional distillation is similar to distillation except that there is a fractionating column between the distillation flask and the condenser. If several substances are dissolved in a liquid, fractional distillation is the process useful for separating them. The crude oil obtained from oil wells yields various substances like petrol, naphtha, kerosene, diesel, etc. The components of crude oil are separated by the process of fractional distillation. Of these, petrol is the most inflammable and has the lowest boiling point, followed by naphtha, kerosene, and any given substance has a specific melting point and boiling point. The liquid and the solute in a solution can be separated by the process of distillation. If there is a significant difference between the boiling points of liquids, they can be separated from a mixture by fractional distillation. That is all in this lesson, students. Keep learning!